Stop! She just literally ate my paper.
Your notes. So
okay.
If we don't know what to say during this video, you can blame Jess.
It's all her fault. The question is, should you guys get an LGD or a livestock guardian dog?
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know, should you?
I don't know.
Hi, my name is Sam.
I'm B.
And welcome to DK Ranch.
If you're interested in getting a livestock guardian dog, not really sure if it's the right choice for you, this video will hopefully help you out.
Yeah, we are beginners at this too.
Oh yeah.
And we don't have a lot of experience with them, but the things that we have learned in this last year and a half, 2 years I guess.
2 years.
Have been very, very
valuable.
Yes. And so that's something we're going to talk to you about today, and we're going to go out and spend some time with the animals too, since it's not freezing cold for a change. So we have 2 livestock guardian dogs. They are a sarplaninac, which is a breed that originated in the former Yugoslavia in the Shire mountain range. It's not a very well-known dog.
Yeah, although I see a lot more of them coming up in the US. I see more of them in the world.
Yeah, they're becoming more available here.
Yeah, they are very strong, very smart and stubborn, intense dogs. But
they're very good.
sweet.
Yeah, they're very good protectors. That's the most important.
Yeah, they're loyal dogs.
We also have slippery.
Careful.
We also have 2 other dogs as well on our farm. We have my girl Cece, which is a Rottweiler Poodle mix.
Yeah.
And then we have a 14-year-old miniature Schnauzer. We just wanted to show you guys how we deal with our dogs, including the livestock dogs being together. And so yeah, we'll go from there.
Okay.
Here, Kronk. All right, this is our first livestock guardian dog, Kronk. He is just over 2 years old. And he's our big man on the block here. And they play really well together with our house dogs as well. And they respect this old guy right here. And don't get in his face. And here is our younger sarplaninac. His name is Pacha. Nope, come on, come. The question is, should you guys get an LGD or a livestock guardian dog?
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know, should you?
I don't know.
But there's a few things that you should consider. And the first thing you should think about is, why do you want one?
Yeah, I think it's easy to say, I want to get a dog to protect my animals because that's what everyone else does. That's not necessarily the right thing to do for your situation, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you need to think about when you are looking at getting a livestock guardian dog. What do you have as far as a space? What are your pastures like? What is your fencing like?
Yeah, Dave is the pig is messing with this dog. So we live in the US, we live in Idaho, and here farms run on private land. Dogs aren't just roaming freely for the most part. So you gotta keep them in. You gotta keep them safe, because if they get on someone else's property.
And something else to think about is the amount of pasture you have. You don't want to put a dog that's used to being out roaming on hundreds or thousands of acres, and dogs that have bred to do that, you don't want to put them in a small little pasture and then expect them to be happy and okay and not get frustrated. And so really making sure you have adequate space for them, I think, is really, really important. Another thing you really want to think about is, what is your predator load? Do you really need a livestock guardian dog to control the predators around your animals?
Yeah. The goal of your livestock guardian dog would be a non-lethal deterrent, right? So if you can do that with a specific type of fencing, say electrical fencing or something like that, that might be more feasible for your property. Yeah,
we originally got our dog and we didn't really need one, and that's a lesson that we learned. We lived in a 1 acre pasture in city limits. We had foxes, raccoons, skunks, occasionally a coyote, but that was the max of our predators. We didn't have a whole lot. And so we should not have actually gotten one, but we got one and now we're working with it. But we now live on a property where there is a much higher predator load, and our new farm that we will be moving to next year has a very high predator load. We have grizzly bears, we've got wolves, mountain lions, coyotes, lots of eagles and hawks. And so we have quite the predator load that we actually do need these dogs now to do their job.
Yeah, to keep things from coming any closer. Something else we need to think about, which was really a surprise to us, was the time. When you're gonna get a livestock guardian dog, and this is talking specifically about if you're gonna get a puppy, which I prefer getting the puppies because then I can make sure that they're bonded to me and I can really mold it into what I want it to be. You're looking at least 2 years of hands-on, eyes on that dog all the time.
24 hours a day.
Yeah, they're not house dogs. They're not like a lab or a golden retriever. They're something else.
Yeah, they're bred to work independently, and so because of that, it makes it harder to train them because they want to just go and do their job and work by themselves.
So this kind of goes back to what these dogs are originally bred for. Speaking specifically about ours, the sarplaninacs are bred to be in the mountains with the sheep and the shepherd, going and going and going. That's not the situation that we have here. I need these dogs to be working on smaller acreage. They need to be fenced in. They need to be good with my dogs, my personal dogs.
Our visitors that we have come to our farm.
Yes, they need to be friendly with the people that we say are okay. They need to be bonded with our family first and foremost. So, you know, I'm expecting a lot out of these dogs, and so that took a lot of extra training. That's
one really important thing that we learned is we can't just expect them to figure it out right away. Even though they are bred to do their job, we're training them to do a different kind of that job. And so that's really important that we learned that. So another thing that kind of goes along with having the time to train them properly is dealing with neighbors too, because a lot of people don't really enjoy dogs barking when they're not their own. And so we live in a spot right now where we've been dealing with that. And so you want to consider your neighbors too.
Especially if you are in sort of close proximity where your neighbors will hear your dogs. Teach them what is a threat and what is not a threat. So when they're up barking in the middle of the night, you gotta get up and go check. And you gotta teach them, because otherwise they will bark at anything.
And there are certain breeds that
bark more.
Some say do have a tendency to bark more. A lot of people say that the Great Pyrenees will bark a lot, sometimes excessively. And I've been around ones that do, and then I've also been around ones that don't. And so it's something you just kind of gotta, each dog is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So it's something you gotta think about.
Yeah, think about, be prepared for either or. So we have a lot of visitors that come to
Got the goats with us.
we have a lot of visitors that come to our homestead, our farm. You know, we got family that likes to come and visit. They have dogs. We've learned we have to keep the dogs all separate if they are not a part of this family. Yeah, this pack. I don't, you know, that might differ depending on everyone's situation, but be prepared for that these dogs often will not accept dogs that are not a part of their pack. And what are the biggest or main predators that they may face?
Well, one of the biggest threats that a lot of people face is just wild dogs that come out of the woods and go after people's livestock, but otherwise coyotes and wolves.
Yep, they're all dogs.
And so they're canine aggressive.
Yeah.
Bred into them for a reason. It's just something you want to think about. If your farm does have a lot of visitors, if you have a tendency to have a lot of dogs come to your farm, that's something you really have to think and prepare for as to how you're going to handle that situation. Because we didn't think about that ahead of time. We just assumed that we could let these dogs do what they want and be a regular dog, but they're not a pet.
No.
And so these are working dogs that have a job, and sometimes they don't differentiate between their job and being a dog. They're just a working dog.
Yeah, they want to work all the time.
Yeah.
Pacha, do you think people should get livestock guardian dogs?
One other thing you also have to think about is, since these dogs aren't going to be living in the house with you, where are they going to sleep? What are they going to do to get out of the wind and the rain and the snow, depending on where you live? They need to be able to get out of the wind, most importantly, and at least have a place to stay out of the rain if they choose.
Right.
Our dogs enjoy being out in the rain.
Sorry.
We had to correct them. And so Kronk and Pacha actually enjoy being out in the rain, and with their coats, they're perfectly fine doing that.
Yeah.
But they need to have a place where if they do get wet, they can go and cool themselves off or warm themselves up, get out of the wind. And so what are you going to do to provide them with that shelter? We got Kronk here with us. He's going to join us in this conversation.
Kronk, you're so expensive.
We got the girls right behind us as well. So another thing you want to think about is the cost of it. The initial cost is expensive too.
Yeah, they're expensive. He's been eating pig food.
These dogs, if you're gonna get one from a really reputable breeder who takes care of their dogs and that does all the genetic testing that they're supposed to do and has working dogs, they are not cheap.
Yeah.
You're looking anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000. I've seen some different breeds.
Yeah.
And so they're not cheap. That's your initial startup, is just that, but then you got to get them to the vet. They need regular vet care just like any other dog.
Yeah, and you got to remember too, if these guys do end up having to protect their property with, you know, their teeth, they might get injured. So they're going to have to go to the vet for those kinds of things too. Although we never want that to happen.
And then also, another big thing that you got to think about is food. Our big dogs eat about 6 cups of kibble every day, between 2 to 3 eggs, and then we give them
6 cups each, by the way.
6 cups each, yes. And then we also give them whatever raw meat we have, old freezer burned meat that we just that we
she just wants to.
She wants to eat.
She's super into eating clothes today.
There's a lot of costs that are involved in there, and so it's just another thing that you want to really think about before you just dive right in and get the first dog you see.
Yeah. Yeah, don't dive in and get the first dog you see. That's what we did.
Another thing that is going to happen, no doubts about it,
that we didn't know about ahead of time. So here's your warning. These dogs go through a teenage phase.
A bad one.
Yep.
Normally. There are exceptions to that rule.
Yep, although we haven't, none of ours are.
Nope.
That is usually from About 1 year to 2 years, they pretty much go backwards. Got to start all over from the very beginning of training. You may have thought, oh, these dogs are just naturals. I don't have to do anything.
Well, he was. He was amazing.
Yep,
up until about a year.
Yep, a year hits and they're like, what training? What animals? I want to be naughty.
Yeah, Kronk never went after chickens, never went after animals, was perfect.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you hit a year old and he turned into a little devil.
Yeah, he was going after everything. And he was a year old. He was big already. He was big, dangerous.
He's 140 pounds-ish.
It was heartbreaking. It was really difficult. And I wish that we had known beforehand so that we could be prepared.
And that's just, again, it's something we didn't know, but it happens.
Yeah, we want you to know so that you can be prepared and you don't have to go through the difficulties that we did.
Right now, our second dog, Pacha, is going through his teenage phase.
Yeah.
And it's rough. It's different for every single dog. Kronk did not like the goats after a year old, and now he's doing really, really good with them.
Yeah. Around 18 months, he kind of switched and turned on the pigs.
Just what happened for him.
Yeah, and then he started going after the puppy, Pacha, too. So that was pretty bad. You know, those are all things that if we had known ahead of time, we could have
mentally prepared
ourselves. We were not, and so we were reacting very emotionally, and that did not help the situation at all.
Yeah.
I think it made it harder for the dogs. Around that teenage phase is when they start to want to challenge the pack order.
Yeah.
So that's where Pacha is right now. So our dogs have been getting into some
scuffles.
Some gnarly scuffles. So yeah, be prepared, because they're big dogs. And if they want to establish a pack order,
they'll figure it out for themselves. That's just what they do.
You might have to step in if they're getting too ridiculous, but usually they can figure it out. And it's really hard
to not react.
Yeah. Just know that there's a teenage phase. It will be hard, but somehow, usually when they hit that 2-year mark, everything falls into place. Their brains settle, they click, and you have a dog laying in the middle of everybody. Just
like this guy right here. And we got Pacha over here. It may seem like we're trying to tell you not to get one. That's not at all.
Just because there's a lot to think about. But if you can make all of those things work,
you wind up with amazing, amazing protectors.
Mm-hmm. And they love you. They love the property. They love everything that is theirs to protect. Mm-hmm. You feel safe.
Yeah. It's one of those things that just, it's worth it if you can stick it out. It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
They're great when they do their job. They're great when you get them to that point where you can really trust them.
Yeah.
But be prepared for lots and lots of hard work. More hard work than just a good old-fashioned house dog.
Yes.
The training is completely different. The attitude in which you have to deal with them is just different.
Yeah. Sorry, this is kind of going off, but just a special thing to remember is these dogs are very emotional.
They remember really, really well, and they are emotional when you scold them. And they get sad, and they'll get kind of sassy with it.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of the training techniques that we've used with CC just doesn't work on them. Yeah, they're different. It's a lot of learning on how to use different methods to train them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pacha.
I agree with that.
Use Pacha.
The big puppy.
Don't give up on your dogs when they're naughty. I won't give up on you, Pacha.
Yeah, we've had some really rough times with these dogs. There's been some moments where I've had to think about getting rid of the dogs. But if you stick it out and keep working extra hard, they end up being really good. We just got very fortunate that we figured it out, at least with these dogs. And so you guys can do it too.
Yep.
We have faith in you.
Yep. Livestock guardian dogs are stubborn, independent, strong-willed, and very, very, very smart.
Yes.
So it's gonna take work, but put all of those qualities in a well-established working dog. There's no question, right, about it being worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it if you put in the work. Nothing against having some good old fencing though.
Yeah.
It's a lot less work and a lot less time. So it's up to you. Think about everything in your situation. If it's the right thing, then go for it. Totally missed it. She just headbutted him again.
Yeah, she just headbutted Kronk. This is the queen of this area. This is my Lily. Right, Lily?
Hey, Kronk, Kronk, Kronk.
She keeps all the dogs in line. She has no problem headbutting them and showing them who's boss.
Did you get that?
Yeah. That's all we had to say on the subject. So, I don't know. Should you guys get a livestock guardian dog? I don't know.
We hope you guys enjoyed that.
We hope that it was informative, at least.
Yeah. And not negative.
Yeah. We want this to be a positive video, and so don't take anything that we said as negative.
Yes, we love our dogs.
We just want people to think about things before they go ahead and do it, because once you get these dogs, they're yours. Yeah. At least that's how I view it. They're yours for life. And so it's important to really make sure that you make all the right choices and think about everything before you just go ahead and do something.
Yes, 100%. If you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell too, so you know when we upload new videos. He just told the pig stop.
Yeah.
Oh, Cronky, 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 woo, you're a Cronkle, do. A Cronkle, 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 Cronkle. Hello, Cronky, hello. Cronky, Cronky, Cronky boy. Cronk, 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 cronk. Cronky, do you enjoy my songs about you, Cronkle? Doodle. Do Cronky, 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 Cronk, Doodle, Drew, Cronky boy, Cronky, 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 Cronky.